Welcome, baseball family, to this Thursday Night Live episode of the Baseball to the Podcast. My name is Brad, and I'll be driving this ship this evening, and our co-pilot's name is Brig. How are you today, Brig?
Hydrated. How are you, Brad?
That's a good way to be. I'm doing well. I've got my beverage as well.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It's very good. All right. Let's get into it. There's some interesting things. We had to cut some stuff. We had our lineup, and then some news broke, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, I think honestly, with the stuff that we had ready today, and then we had to shift, I think we're gonna have a really good episode next week of the big show as well.
I agree. So, yeah, I totally
very
agree.
excited. Okay, first things first. The big news this week is that Max Scherzer is out for the rest of the regular season, and most likely, the postseason as well.
Yes.
Now, this is due to a teres major muscle strain, and we talked about this with Aaron Judge with the toe, right? That a strain is also it's a partial tear of the tissue. So you can't just say, "Oh, it's just a strain. He'll be right back." No. That's not how that works.
No.
So, Brig,
for those of you watching,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, you go tell him. Go ahead.
I was going to give you a little bit of an anatomy lesson.
Yeah, here.
The teres major muscle is on the back of the shoulder, where akin to where Brig is pointing. And it is part of the rotator cuff. And that is an issue with the pitcher who's having his issues with his teres major muscle.
So anyway, yes. Is that why you wore your tank today, Brig?
Just so you could show us? Just for here. It's right here.
Yeah. Except it goes... Instead of going this way, like your point, it goes this way. But
yeah.
Anyway, so it's part of the rotator cuff, which is interesting to me because we used to hear about rotator cuff injuries all the time, right? Like that was like the pitcher injury was the rotator cuff before the UCL got to be the big thing with Tommy John. Yeah. Like I had a buddy in high school who was a great pitcher, but his career ended because of a rotator cuff injury. Now, I'm not saying this is the end of Max Scherzer's career. Because they said it's a strain. It's not a full tear, although he is 39. Hold on to that, right?
Oh, I'm baseball family. If you'll notice, this pink line I have here matches this pink line I have here. I've had both of my rotator cuffs reconstructed.
Youch.
So when they say hopefully it's not the end of a 39-year-old pitcher's career, I wonder.
I honestly wonder too. And the reason I want to say I hold out hope for it not ending his career is because it's a strain. It's not a complete tear, right? He hasn't completely torn the tendon. It doesn't seem like significant muscle damage, just besides a strain, which I actually looked it up and said, what's the best thing for a strain? It's just rest, relaxation.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's going to be the prescription for the rest of this year is just don't pick up a baseball because you're going to want to throw it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's what's going on with Max Scherzer right now. And some interesting things about the Max Scherzer acquisition is he is the second ace that the Rangers have lost this year. Because don't forget, they lost Jacob deGrom to Tommy John earlier this year.
Yeah.
They've remembered how to win, Brig. The Rangers have.
I was going to say, and yet they streak.
Yeah, 5 in a row. That is a streak and then some.
Yeah.
6-4 in their last 10. They're currently sitting 1 game back of the Astros and are up a half a game in the wild card. The Mariners hold the 3rd spot right now, and the Rangers are up a half a game on them. So I do wonder, though, Brig. So actually, before I ask you this question, I have a few things I want to share with you. So since Scherzer was acquired from the Mets, which happened July 30th of this year, he has made 8 starts with the Rangers. And since then, the Rangers as a team have gone 21-18. So is losing yet another ace going to be a problem for them and be the nail in the coffin for this terrible streak? I mean, they're 3 games over 500 since July 30th, right? But compared to what the Rangers were at the beginning of the season, that is a really bad stretch. Is this going to be the nail in the coffin for this really bad stretch that they've been on, or is this going to be a rallying point to carry them into the playoffs?
I mean, the real life answer is who knows.
Right.
But what I suspect is I think this is what happens. I think they still make it into the playoffs. You said they wouldn't. Maybe
I still don't think they will.
Maybe you're
unless I don't know. The Blue Jays seem to have forgotten how to win. So
correct. So I still think they make it into the playoffs. I think this does limit their depth of the depth of the run they make into the playoffs. Absolutely. But
I can see that.
I still think they make it in. They might get knocked off pretty early.
Okay. So I kind of asked you a loaded question. I need to apologize for that first, because this is my thing, is that Scherzer has only had 8 starts, right? Like, I don't feel like that's a significant impact. Like, yes, you could trot him out there game 1 of any series and be like, we've got a good chance of winning this thing.
We got it.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's a legitimate ace on any staff when he's healthy. But this is the thing, that the reason that I think that the Rangers could potentially miss the playoffs is because of the absence of Adolis Garcia. I think that's going to have a bigger impact than the absence of Scherzer. Because I was looking into that too. I was looking into that injury, his patellar tendon injury, and he's not expected back for like another week or so. And there's only like 15, 16 games left in the season. Right. So not having Garcia could have a bigger impact. And when he comes back, he's not going to have a chance to do a rehab assignment either.
No, he's either going to have to not play until the postseason, or no, because all the minor league clubs are in.
That's what I'm saying. No rehab assignment.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. There's no chance.
They'll be done by the time he can come back. So he'll either come back ice cold or have to just like pinch hit and pinch run for a little bit, right? Yeah. So I think his absence is what could be the downfall of the Rangers. Again, like I said, that's only if the Blue Jays remember how to win games, because it seems like they've completely forgotten.
And only if Adolis Garcia comes back and can't hit the ball. There's a lot of ifs going on.
There are a lot of ifs, yeah.
Because if he comes back
in the last 10 days, and it's helped a lot.
If Adolis Garcia comes back and can produce, then who knows? That'll change everything.
Yeah, it will. So an interesting end of the regular season for the Rangers, trying to figure out what's going on with pitching, and also that Adolis Garcia hole is pretty massive. So they're an interesting fall the rest of the way. Now let's move on to the Red Sox. This news broke today, like as I was getting ready to put this all together and like schedule this thing, Brig. And then I text you, I was like, oh shoot, Chaim Bloom.
Chaim.
The Red
That's
Sox,
what I said. Chaim.
The Red Sox fired their chief baseball officer, Chaim Bloom, today. Yeah, so this is just like, I always thought that the Red Sox like had it together, but I guess I don't know. It doesn't seem like they do, because they fired Dave Dombrowski after the 2019 season, right?
Yeah.
And then they hired Chaim Bloom and said, okay, you need to get us under the luxury tax. And he said, okay, easiest way to do that. Let's get rid of David Price and Mookie Betts.
Yep.
Followed his marching orders to a T. Built a team on a budget. Granted, it's not a great team, right?
But
good.
A pretty good team.
Pretty good team, right? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Rafael Devers, great player. Trevor Story feels like he's still coming back from surgery a little bit, right?
Tristan Cassis is coming back. I mean, he's like their everyday first base guy forever now.
Yeah, and we didn't think he would be.
No, he was so shoddy early on, and I was like, I don't know,
Mhm.
man. We were pulling for Anthony Rizzo to be their re-sign before the Yankees picked him up. So,
Yeah.
because we were worried about him, and now there's nothing to worry about.
Right. Yeah. So so he's built this team, and this is the thing that's crazy to me, Brig, is that since Bloom has taken over before the 2020 season, the Red Sox have gone 267 and 262. This is going into today.
Yeah. And they are
Now,
currently 5-4 against the Yankees in the bottom of the 6th of the day-night doubleheader.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question I have for you, Brig.
Okay.
Is it fair to fire Chaim Bloom for the way the Red Sox have performed based on what he was asked to do with building a contender on a budget?
Yes.
It is fair to fire him.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because he was hired to get them to this point. He got them to this point. Now he needs to get out of there so they can hire somebody to get him to the next point. They already know that his capabilities, they already know what he can and can't bring to the table. They probably already have somebody else in mind. They're waiting for the season to become whatever it's going to be, and then we'll figure it out very quickly who they're going to pull, and it's going to be a backdoor name drop. You just watch.
You think that they were just like his job was to get them under the luxury tax and keep them there for several years?
Isn't that what we just said?
Well, right. I feel like that was like, okay, this is your first job. Now do this. Now build this winner because Jerry DiPoto's job in Seattle is to build a winner on a budget. He's done a great job of doing it.
He has. I agree.
Right. And I feel like
what I'm saying is
Chaim Bloom's done a pretty good job. It's not like I said,
Yeah.
not a great team, but they're a good team. They're contending still this late in the season.
Here's the thing, though. After 3.8 years or whatever with the team, they know exactly who he is. They know what his capabilities are, thought processes, philosophies, whatever. I don't think this has anything to do with what's right or wrong. I think this has to do with what they think is best for the club. And if he's not it, they'd know by now.
You think it's more about his philosophy of putting together a team rather than his performance?
I don't think it matters which it is.
You
honestly,
don't think it matters? Yeah.
No, I think that you could argue either from sitting, and it would be just as good. Point is, I think that what they want is clearly not him, and they're going to go out and get it, and hopefully it works out. It will be interesting to see how how he will move on. That's what I think is more interesting. The Red Sox are going to do whatever they're going to do. But where does he go from here, and what is that going to look like? Because somebody else is going to like his philosophies, or they're going to trust his ideas, or they're going to look at his track record with the Red Sox and see it for what it is and not for what it wasn't going to be, which is what I think Boston is doing. They're seeing not what it is, but what it is not going to be, which is what we want over this way.
I think that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. And, one of the things that it reminds me of, though, is this is the last thing I have on this, is that the Portland Trailblazers, and I always go back to, anytime I talk about a dysfunctional franchise, I talk about the Trailblazers because Paul Allen was like so erratic sometimes that it was just like, what are you doing? But he hired a GM and then fired him like 9 months later. And everybody was like, this is not how you build a winner.
Right.
And and that's one of the things that I feel like with this is that like they want a winner in Boston because that's gotten to be the expectation.
Yeah.
But this doesn't feel like how you do that.
Here's
and maybe Chaim Bloom isn't the guy who was going to build a winner for him, but he was going to be the guy who was going to take all the bullets and sell off the big name players because they cost a bunch of money. I don't know. Anyway.
Last thing I want to say about this is that, well, it's gone. Okay. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Okay. We need to move on anyway. Because
I got it. Sorry. The last thing I want to say about this is that firing him today was not a good look. Like, whether it's right or wrong and he fits inside your future plans or whatever, you wait till November 4th and then you fire him. That I have a beef with.
Or October 2nd. Wait till the season's over.
Right, whichever happens first.
Don't do it with 3 weeks left in the season. I agree with you. No. Absolutely. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit. We have a breakdown of the playoff, not the bracket, but the standings for the playoff races. And one of the things that's really interesting about this is that there have been some spoilers over the last week or so that have been mixing things up in the standings. First off, the A's took 2 out of 3 from the Astros in Houston. Not sure.
I don't know
What's up with that. The Yankees are fighting to get out of last place.
The Yankees and Red Sox are fighting over who gets last place. That's
there you go. Yeah, I was say they're fighting to get out of last place with the Red Sox there.
Yeah, going into today, they had even records. It was like 76 and 72 both ways or whatever.
It was 73 and 72 because I saw after the game after the morning part of the doubleheader, the Yankees were 73 and 73.
Yeah.
So I did see that much today.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're fighting over who gets last place. That's what it is.
Yeah, and then the Cardinals swept the Orioles, the Battle of the Birds, in Baltimore. Not a good way to get ready to come to town unless they were just looking past them. I don't know.
Series. It's ridiculous.
Because this is the thing: is the Cards are not—they're not just fighting to win games. Like they haven't checked out. Like that's a good group of players who have not checked out. Kind of like opposite of the White Sox, they've checked out, but they want to get Adam Wainwright his 200th win.
Yeah, they do.
So those guys are fighting tooth and nail to not only get him his 200th win, but have momentum going into that game when he comes into pitch. So good on the Cards for what they're doing in St. Louis right now.
And I like it.
And then the Rangers are working on sweeping the Blue Jays. They took the first 3 decisively. I'm going to check the score real quick and see what's going on there.
Rangers are up 4-2 in the end of the 6th right now.
Yep, there we go. So they're trying to sweep the Blue Jays, and that could be a huge favor done for everybody in the wild card race. But, so this is how things look coming into Thursday. There's like 15 or 16 games left, depending on your team and how many they've played. A few teams are in a few different places, but anyway. So the Orioles are up on the Rays. This is in the AL East. The Orioles are up on the Rays by 2 games. In the Central, the AL Central, the Twins are up on Cleveland by 7.5 games. That's pretty well wrapped up. The Astros are up on the Rangers by 1 game and the Mariners by 1.5 games. The wild AL West.
Oh, man.
And then in the in the National League, in the NL East, the Braves have clinched. They clinched last night. That's 6 division titles in a row. Good on you, Atlanta. The Brewers are up on the Cubs by 4 games in the Central. The Dodgers have a magic number of 4 to clinch the NL West. Right. So a reminder of the magic number, that is any combination of Dodger wins and Arizona / San Francisco losses.
Yeah.
So that's how they – and actually the D-backs lost today, so that magic number is down to 3. They got today. Let's look at the wild card. The American League, the Rays sit at the top. They have an 8.5 game lead. They're not worried about that. They're focused on the division. The Rangers are plus half a game. The Mariners are the 3rd team. They're obviously even, setting the bar there. And then the Blue Jays are a game back of the Mariners. If that result holds, they will be a 1.5 games back of the Mariners because they're idle today. The National League, the Phillies are at the top by 3.5 games. The Cubs are +2 of the Diamondbacks and Reds, who are setting the standard. And as the 3rd, actually the D-backs are now a 0.5 game back of the Reds. And then the Marlins and the Giants are also 0.5 game back of the Reds. So that is tight, like a toiger.
Whoa. Tight like unto a dish is what
like unto a dish, indeed.
Yeah.
So let's talk magic numbers before we move on. Okay. Because these are fun, and it's a great way to see what your team's likelihood of making the playoffs is. So we can teach you how to calculate this number. I wrote it all down so I don't have to do math on the fly, Brig, because that's stupid. So the way this works is you take the leading team's wins plus the trailing team's losses, subtract that number from 163, and that gets your magic number. So here's an example for you for the Twins. You ready?
Yep.
Their magic number to clinch the division is 9. So you take their 76 wins, Cleveland's 78 losses, add those together, that's 154. 163 minus 154 equals 9. If that makes any sense to anybody.
No,
and if you can't find it, just look it up online. So the teams that are officially eliminated from the playoffs, we have Oakland, Kansas City, the Chicago White Sox, and Colorado. Last week we said the Mets and the Nats were eliminated, but they were just eliminated from the division, not from playoff contention altogether. So
there you go.
So here are some magic numbers for you. Divisions, Brave, like I said, the Braves already clinched.
Yep.
The Dodgers, theirs is 4, or 3, I guess, like I said. The Brewers is 13. The Orioles is 15. The Twins is 7. And the Astros is a whole 16 because it's tight, like unto a dish.
Tight.
The wild card, the Rays to clinch their playoff spot is 3. The Rangers and Mariners are both at 12 playoff spot.
Whoa.
Loving
With 15 games left?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yep. Actually, that number goes down 1. So I think for the Rays, Rangers, and Mariners, it's 2 for the Rays and 11 for the Rangers and Mariners. Oh. Well, that's if the result holds. Never mind. We won't go that far.
Right. Yeah, right.
Okay. And then the National League wild card, the Phillies are 13, the Cubs are 14, and then the Reds are 16. So
wow.
It is getting down. It's going to go down to the wire.
That's amazing.
It is.
It is
amazing. Okay. Do you have anything
baseball
you want to
family.
add to that, Brig?
No, I want to jump ahead. Baseball family, check it out. If you want to be involved in the Q&A that we have going on in the show, jump into VersusGame. We have partnered with them to bring you polls and trivia, and it's all on your mobile device, and you can play for free. Or if you want to play and really earn for real dollar bills, which you can do playing for free anyway, but if you want to really earn some dollar bills, you can pay for ticket bundles, and it's all on VersusGame. Real money, real fun, real baseball questions, and more. They have a lot of other stuff on there. The best way to get up there is to get your mobile device out, go to BT Pod, like baseball together, btpod.onversus.com on your mobile browser. Sign up and play our polls and trivia that we contribute to their site. That's btpod.onversus.com. Sign up and play VersusGame with us today.
For sure. All right, let's move on and talk about the national TV schedule right quick. It's slim. It is slim, and I want to talk about that for just a minute when we get through this. So okay. Friday night, Apple TV still has baseball going on. Got the Rays at the Orioles, 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. This is for the division, folks. This could be a huge decider going into the last week of the season. Huge with a Y.
Never bigger right now. It's so good.
Big deal. I saw something that said that this is the biggest series that's been played at Camden Yards in like a decade. Something like that.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, absolutely. The other Apple TV Plus game is the Phillies at the Cards. That game is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Saturday, no baseball on Fox, FS1, none of it because of college football. Sunday, Peacock, no baseball on Peacock Sunday morning. And then Sunday night, you've got the Cubs at the Diamondbacks at 7:10 p.m. Eastern time. That is back to the original time. Like I said, that game's on ESPN. Mm-hmm. And Brig, I think that this national TV schedule this weekend is a huge old fatty fat problem for Major League Baseball.
100,000%.
Because
TV broadcasts should be expanding going into the playoffs, not contracting.
Exactly right. Division races, everything. And you've got less baseball on national TV. They need to figure it out. They need to fix it because it's ridiculous. And I understand Fox is football first, right? Like, I get it. But at the same time, though, they need to figure out a way to get baseball on national TV because now is the time.
It has to be now.
But anywho, let's talk about New Era. We are so excited to tell you about our newest partnership with New Era. If you've listened to the show at all, you know we absolutely love our hats. Our favorite hats are made by New Era. From spring training through the postseason, the Bush Leagues to the Bigs, New Era Cap is the official headwear of Major League Baseball. One of our favorite episodes every year is ranking the newest minor league Copa hats, just like Brig has there. Now we have the ability to bring you 15% off every New Era hat you buy. Go to neweracap.com and use code BaseballTogether, all one word, at checkout. Again, use code BaseballTogether with no space at neweracap.com for 15% off your order. Some exclusions do apply. And
jump in the comments. Let us know which hat you're going to be buying first. That's what we want to know. Or next.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Brig, tell them what series we're going to be watching because you were spot on with this when you texted me these series. It's like, those are the ones I already have written down. So
That's right. So Brad and I usually have a few disparities, but now with the situation going on the way we just explained, both of us will be watching Rays in Camden at playing Baltimore. This is the heavyweight title fight right now, and it is going to be banana pancakes.
the headlining band, as I like to say.
Call Gwen Stefani. This is bananas. Okay. The Dodgers at the Mariners is a huge deal for the Mariners. The Dodgers are good. They're going to be fine. But the Mariners have got to win.
The Dodgers don't need to win. So
exactly. So, there's hope. Cubs and D-backs. This is a big deal for the Cubs. It's a big deal for the D-backs as well with the wild card situation, the Cubs in their wild card situation. But the Cubs still have a chance at taking the division. The Diamondbacks do not. But there are playoff implications on all three of these series, and it's awesome.
It is. Very excited. Okay, let's share our picks for the weekend, Brig. So
go ahead, Brad.
Real quick, I was very excited. I got back to my winning ways last weekend. And I went 3-0, which takes me back to 31-32, and I cashed out my winnings for the season officially.
Yeah.
And went and bought myself a new computer and a pretty sweet setup.
Baseball family, that's code for pay attention to Brad.
Thank you, sports betting.
Thanks, Arizona.
Exactly. Thank you,
Don't
sports
move here.
All right, so my picks for the weekend. Friday, take the Yankees run line over the Pirates. That's going to be -1.5, I guarantee. So take that. That's a pitching matchup, Brig. You take it. And then Saturday, take the Red Sox money line over the Blue Jays. I'm going to be bold on that one. That's another pitching matchup, though. That's Chris Sale against Chris Bassett, the battle of the Chris's. And I think you go Red Sox on this one, money line. No. And then Sunday, Brig, another one. I'm going to go bold on this one, too. I'm actually going to put money on the Mets to win a baseball game.
No.
Think about this, Brig. Think about this.
I just endorsed you publicly, Brad.
I know. But think about this, Brig. The Mets have a ton of talent on that team. That's why it's baffling that they're as bad as they are. Yeah. They should be winning games. Now there's zero pressure. The Reds are a really young team with a ton of pressure. Take the Mets on Sunday, money line over the Reds.
All right. I went 1-2 last week, which I almost went 2-1, but I got scooped right at the last minute because of a stupid extra innings game.
Yeah.
The game went into 13th or something with the Yankees, and that's why I lost. The Yankees won, but I lost because I got the money line. I picked the run line. Had I got the money line, I'd have been fine, but I picked the run line. So I went 1-2 last week. That puts me at 26-35. Friday, I suggest you put money on the Braves on the money line to beat the Marlins for Friday. Saturday, take the Brewers over the Nats on the run line. And Sunday, Giants run line over the Rockies. It's going to be in Denver. So, duh. The end.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's probably Brad said that's the safest pick my whole season. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, the Braves won. The Braves over the Marlins is the safest pick.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah,
they're probably
almost
all
-200.
Hopefully they're the safest.
Yeah. But so speaking of that Friday though, so for my Blackjack Brad's Black Flag pick of the week. There's your weekly tongue twister too. It didn't hit last week. I had Nick Castellanos homering on Saturday, but anyway, it is what it is. I'm 4-6 on these, I believe. Now I think I lost track somewhere in the middle. But anyway, this is the safest prop bet you can put any money on at all ever this entire weekend. Is Matt Olson to homer on Friday? Matt Olson to homer anytime is probably the safest prop bet you can do. I don't even know if you're getting plus money anymore on it, but go ahead and do it because the dude's gonna homer. He's leading majors in homers. Got 51, 52, depending on if he hit in the last 5 minutes. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, that dude's homering like every single time he gets up to the plate these days.
He is. He really is.
But anyway, baseball family, thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. If you want to support the show in another way, in addition to getting yourself a New Era hat and playing Versus Game, You can also hop on to Patreon. That is the most direct way to support the show. We have $1, $5, $10, $15, and a whopping $500 tier of support over on Patreon. You can find out what that $500 tier includes, but they all include a sticker and the bullpen cut, the unedited version of the podcast.
That's right. Which comes out every Tuesday, unless it's Labor Day.
Yeah, unless it's Labor Day or a certain day in December. We'll tell you about that later. But anyway, there's a link in the description of every episode to get over to Patreon and do that whole thing. But baseball family, thank you for watching and supporting. Like, subscribe, rate, and review, all that stuff, because it helps the show more than you know. And we really appreciate everybody's support all along the way. Buckle up, because the playoff races are really heating up, and it's going to be a ton of fun the rest of the way. We'll catch you next week.